finale drew over 50% less than the finale of season 1. You lost half of your...
I'm gonna be a dad. Yeah.
Stop being mean to Bella Ramsey in The Last of Us 2. That's what the journalists are saying. But what the internet is saying, no, we want more memes about her. And unfortunately, the internet gets what it wants.
Joel, I think I found something.
Whoa!
What?
Oh, nothing. It's just your forehead seems bigger than last season.
I think I found a way through over there.
It's never any fun not being able to go to sleep, just like it wasn't any fun watching Last of Us Season 2. So, in the show, Ellie still looks exactly the same, but is supposed to be 5 years older. Also, Ellie still acts exactly the same. So it really conflicts with what the character's supposed to be portrayed as here. Like most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job.
Ellie's super smart. What? Characterization of Ellie being dumb is weird.
Yes, maybe we can prop it open with something and you can slide.
Whoa! Oh my god, what?
Is it getting bigger?
Stop it.
No, seriously, what's with that?
It's fine, Joel.
Does it hurt?
Joel, please. You're making me self-conscious.
I'm sorry, it's just a little bit startling.
It's a normal head, Joel. Can we just get back to the door things?
It's planetary.
Leave it.
It's gonna have its own area code soon.
Creator of the show is finally speaking out about its failure. The Last of Us creator Craig Mazin admits season 2 was a...
That's wild. Every time that song got played, I thought about Joel and I would cry. But because we spent the entire last episode or two just not even thinking about him too much, in my humble opinion, and I know nothing, okay, and I'm not a writer, we could have started the episode there. Shouldn't need to be triangulating. Ellie didn't need to be dumb.
Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie and keeping Bella Ramsey as Ellie because it's supposed to take place 5 years into the future, but obviously Bella Ramsey in real life was not going to age that much in, the 2 years it took between seasons, because Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19.
So maybe if I just move some of this debris, we can get the door open a crack.
Hey! Here! Oh my goodness, Joel! What do I do?
Jesus!
Joel, focus!
Again?
Joel!
Okay, I guess just use your telekinesis?
I don't have telekinesis, Joel!
I don't believe you! Look at the size of that thing! Just try, Ellie, please! I think it's working, Ellie. Keep trying. Come on, cranium!
Did we just witness the most shocking collapse in modern TV history? For years, The Last of Us was hailed as the gold standard of video game adaptations, a series that broke records, won awards, and dominated the conversation. But now, in a twist that no one saw coming, the second season of The Last of Us has done the unthinkable.
There was a lot of deviations and, more than anything, terrible casting on the part of Neil Druckmann and the director and producer of this show, Craig Mazin. I think they did a terrible job with a lot of the actors they did choose for The Last of Us, including Pedro Pascal, who's just overexposed now.
According to new reports, its viewership on HBO Max has plummeted all the way to 0. Yes, 0. Not a single viewer logged in to watch any episode, and the numbers are sending shockwaves across Hollywood. How did this happen? Fans are pointing fingers, industry insiders are whispering about casting disasters, and one name keeps getting dragged into the center of the storm: Bella Ramsey.
Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about it to everybody who works for her when things inevitably start spiraling.
Oh my God. She is so full of it.
This is not what it
The once celebrated star who carried season 1 as Ellie is now being called the very reason the series crashed and burned. And the rumors aren't stopping there. Behind the scenes, people are saying Bella herself has completely broken down over the backlash, leaving even the show's own creators scrambling to explain what went wrong.
I'm sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Christian.
So, is this really the end of The Last of Us? Was it all doomed from the start? Or did one performance sink a billion-dollar franchise overnight? Let's dive into the collapse that nobody thought was possible, and how Bella Ramsey went from rising star to the face of a disaster. Nobody saw it coming. Just a year ago, The Last of Us Season 1 was HBO Max's crown jewel. Every new episode would crash streaming servers, spawn viral clips, and ignite endless debates. But as Season 2 rolled out, things started to feel off. The trailers looked darker, but not in a good way. Critics critics whispered about rushed writing, and fans who loved the original game began questioning every creative decision. Still, nobody imagined the numbers could actually sync, and yet they did. Fast forward to last week, and industry trackers leaked something that didn't even sound real. The Last of Us Part 2 Episode 5 logged 0 active viewers on its premiere night. 0 for a show that once commanded millions. Analysts on Twitter, well, X now, started sharing graphs, showing a straight-line freefall from Episode 1 to Episode 5. The memes came instantly. Screenshots of flatlined viewership charts captioned, "The Last of Us is literally the last of them." Fans flooded Reddit threads asking if HBO Max had a glitch. Some believed the numbers were fake until a so-called former employee posted screenshots of internal analytics. That post went viral overnight, with one comment racking up thousands of upvotes saying, "How do you go from Game of the Year to Show of the Decade to 0? And then the finger-pointing started. Names were thrown around. Writers, directors, executives, but one name stood out more than any other. Bella Ramsey. It was almost immediate. Longtime viewers started pulling up old clips, comparing her emotional moments in Season 1 to the jarring, almost robotic delivery some felt she brought to Season 2. Others blamed the writers, but more and more voices were saying it. Bella was never the right choice for Ellie. Even fan pages started turning against her. Comment sections filled with phrases like miscast, unwatchable, and the reason I canceled my subscription. People began digging through old interviews where Bella talked about not playing the video game before taking the role, something that once felt charming, now used as proof she didn't respect the source material. And as the fire spread online, another wave hit. Clips from behind the scenes, interviews, podcasts, all being used to build one narrative, that Bella Ramsey had single-handedly brought a juggernaut series to its knees. But as the criticism intensified, something even bigger resurfaced, something the creators had been warned about long before Season 2 ever aired. It didn't happen overnight, but the shift was undeniable. By the time Episode 2 of Season 2 aired, social media was already in revolt. Hashtags like #NotMyEllie and #RecastBella started trending. On TikTok, edits popped up showing side-by-side comparisons of Bella's most awkward line deliveries with clips from the game's original Ellie voice actress, Ashley Johnson. The captions were savage. "We deserved better." Then came the reaction videos. YouTubers with millions of followers started releasing scathing breakdowns, calling Bella's performance soulless and detached. One viral clip featured a critic pausing mid-scene just to say, "How is HBO letting this air?" Even mainstream outlets picked up the narrative. A headline from a major entertainment blog read, "Viewers slam Bella Ramsey as The Last of Us crashes in ratings." And while this might sound like ordinary internet noise, something about this backlash felt different. It wasn't just nitpicking a few awkward scenes. It was personal. Longtime fans felt betrayed. They remembered how fiercely the show's creators had defended their casting choices back in Season 1, even when some fans doubted Bella could capture Ellie's spirit. Now those doubts were being dug up and weaponized. There were even rumors, unverified but widely shared, that some of the cast had quietly suggested recasting Ellie before filming started. One supposed insider claimed there was a serious conversation about replacing Bella, but the higher-ups shut it down. They wanted continuity, even if it meant alienating fans. Whether true or not, the rumor poured gasoline on an already raging fire. By mid-season, the tone in fan communities changed from disappointment to outright anger. Threads filled with comments like, "She's not even trying," or "It's painful watching her ruin these scenes." Some even speculated that Bella didn't care about the character, citing a clip where she laughed during a tense behind-the-scenes moment. And through all of this, HBO Max stayed silent. No statements, no defenses, no attempts to calm the storm. That silence only fueled more speculation. Did they know they'd made a mistake? Were they already planning to cancel the show? But for Bella, the pressure was mounting. Every day, new compilations roasting her performance went viral. Every interview she gave sparked another round of criticism. And behind the scenes, insiders say the tension was boiling over, setting the stage for what many now call one of the most infamous breakdowns in recent TV history. Long before Season 2 ever hit HBO Max, there were whispers, quiet at first, but persistent. Industry insiders claimed that several casting consultants, people who work behind the scenes to match actors with roles, had flagged concerns about Bella Ramsey continuing as Ellie. It wasn't just about looks or age, it was about chemistry, range, and whether she could carry the heavier, more emotionally devastating moments of The Last of Us Part 2. But according to those same insiders, those warnings went straight into the trash. HBO executives, still riding high off Season 1's awards and critical acclaim, reportedly doubled down on their choice. Continuity was the word they used. They didn't want to confuse audiences with a new face. One anonymous source supposedly told a fan podcast they were told point blank that Ellie's character arc required a completely different energy, someone who could handle a darker, more conflicted version of Ellie, but they refused to even audition anyone else. Then there were the leaked snippets of early table reads posted on a Reddit thread months ago. In those clips, assuming they're authentic, you can hear the discomfort in the room. Bella delivers a key monologue with a flatness that drew awkward laughter from someone in the background. The thread exploded with comments like, "This is who they're keeping for Season 2? HBO never acknowledged the leaks, but they never removed them either, which only gave them more credibility. It didn't stop there. Several entertainment bloggers dug up interviews from the first season season, where Bella admitted she hadn't played the original game and didn't really plan to. Back then, fans shrugged it off, trusting the showrunners. Now, those same quotes were resurfacing under headlines like Bella Ramsey never understood Ellie, and it shows. And while all of this was circulating, the people at the top stayed quiet. No public comments, no statements about performance direction or production issues, nothing. The silence felt almost arrogant, as if they believed audiences would simply come back no matter what. But audiences weren't coming back. They were leaving in droves. Inside sources even claimed that some crew members privately questioned the decision during production. One report described a tense meeting where a director hinted at rewriting key scenes to play to Bella's strengths, only to be shot down by higher-ups determined to stay the course. The result? A production that felt to many fans like it was built on denial. They kept pushing forward, convinced that momentum alone could save them. But instead, that very stubbornness set the show on a path that would lead straight to disaster. And the first signs of that disaster? They came not from behind the scenes, but from the headlines and comment sections that would soon engulf the entire series. The first wave of bad press was subtle, an offhand remark in a review, a tweet from a critic noting that something feels off this season. But once the audience backlash hit full swing, the media storm followed. Suddenly, every entertainment outlet seemed to be running a piece about The Last of Us Part 2 and its rapidly dwindling audience. One viral article's headline read, "How HBO let its biggest hit crash and burn." Another, even more cutting, declared, "Bella Ramsey's Ellie is unrecognizable, and not in a good way." Clips of Bella's most awkward moments were now being featured on late-night talk shows, framed as punchlines. A host joked, "I think The Last of Us, is anyone still watching?" The audience laughed. But for the fans who once defended the series, it wasn't funny, it was heartbreaking. YouTube commentators jumped in next. Channels that had spent years praising the show began uploading videos titled things like "The Downfall of The Last of Us" and Bella Ramsey's role in the collapse. Some went deeper, analyzing scene by scene how Ellie's emotional arc felt rushed, unconvincing, or downright inconsistent. Those videos racked up millions of views, each one fueling the growing narrative that Bella was out of her depth. Then came Bella's interviews, meant to promote the show, but they only made things worse. In one particularly infamous clip, she was asked about the fan backlash and responded with a laugh, saying, "I don't really read comments. People will say what they say." That sentence became ammunition, repeated in memes and tweets with captions like, "Yeah, Bella, people will say what they say, like we're done watching." The tone was savage, and it spread fast. Even friendly outlets couldn't ignore the disaster anymore. A podcast that had always been supportive of the series admitted on air, "We wanted to love this season, but something's off." And yeah, it starts with Bella. Another entertainment magazine published a piece analyzing HBO's refusal to pivot, framing it as a case study in ego over audience. All of this created a feedback loop. Bad press fueled fan anger. Fan anger fueled more bad press, and every new article or viral video felt like another nail in the coffin. Inside the industry, whispers turned into open speculation. Was HBO planning to cancel the show mid-season? Would they try to salvage it by announcing a recast? But no such announcement came. Instead, the noise kept growing louder until the tension reached Bella herself. And that's when things truly spiraled, when Bella Ramsey, now at the center of a storm she couldn't escape, finally reached a breaking point that stunned even the people who had been criticizing her. The tension finally caught up with Bella Ramsey in a way no one could have predicted. For weeks, she had been the lightning rod for everything wrong with The Last of Us Part 2. Every headline, every trending hashtag, every snide remark on late-night TV, it all circled back to her. And when the cast gathered for a high-profile press event in Los Angeles, insiders say she walked in looking exhausted, her usual confidence gone. It started subtly. During the Q&A, a journalist asked a simple question. "What do you say to viewers who feel your performance hasn't captured Ellie's evolution?" Cameras caught Bella pausing, too long before giving a forced smile. She said, "I think people just don't understand the direction we're going." But her voice cracked halfway through, and the room went uncomfortably quiet. Then came the follow-up. Another reporter pushed further, referencing the leaked analytics showing 0 viewership for the previous episode. "Do you feel responsible for the drop in numbers?" That was the spark. Bella's composure shattered. Witnesses said her eyes welled up, her hands trembled on the mic, and for a few seconds she couldn't speak. When she finally did, her words were sharp and raw. "You think I wanted this? You think I don't care? I've given everything to this role, and you all just sit there tearing me apart." The crowd gasped. Clips of that moment spread across social media within hours, racking up millions of views. Some sympathized, but many didn't. Instead, they used the meltdown as further proof that Bella was not built for this. A trending tweet read, "If she can't handle questions, how can she handle Ellie?" Backstage, sources said Bella was inconsolable, reportedly yelling at publicists and snapping at a fellow cast member who tried to calm her down. Rumors spread that she stormed out of the venue before the event ended, leaving stunned producers scrambling to handle the fallout. One insider leaked that the showrunner himself pulled her aside and begged her to take a break from interviews, but the damage was already done. The next day, headlines headlines exploded. Bella Ramsey breaks down in tears as The Last of Us 2 implodes. Entertainment blogs described it as a career-defining moment, but not in a good way. The footage of her breakdown played on endless loops across TikTok and Instagram, each repost racking up comments like, "She's finished," and "This is what happens when studios ignore fans." But what happened after that press event wasn't just a PR nightmare. It was the moment many viewers decided to walk away for good, setting the stage for one of the most shocking statistics in streaming history. And that's when the numbers hit rock bottom. If you thought the backlash and the breakdown were as bad as it could get, think again. Just days after Bella's emotional outburst went viral, new leaks began circulating, this time from within HBO Max itself. A now-deleted post from a supposed data analyst showed a chart that didn't seem possible. The line for The Last of Us Part 2 Episode 6 viewership flatlined completely. 0 concurrent viewers during its premiere window. 0. For a franchise that once had millions glued to their screens, the statistic was almost surreal. Fans began screenshotting the chart and sharing it with captions like, "From Game of the Year to Nobody Cares." Memes exploded. One particularly savage TikTok showed footage of Bella's breakdown overlaid with the flatline graph set to dramatic music, ending with the caption, "Ellie deserved better." It hit 3 million views in under 24 hours. Forums lit up with speculation. Was HBO hiding the real numbers? Was this a data glitch? But insiders doubled down. One anonymous crew member posted, "We were told internally that engagement hit 0 during the premiere hour. 0. Never seen anything like it." Whether it was entirely accurate didn't matter. People believed it, and the narrative solidified. The show had, in the eyes of the public, completely gone. And the blame? It circled right back to Bella Ramsey. Comment threads filled with sentiments like, "They should have recast her when they had the chance," and "HBO ruined their own masterpiece by sticking with her." Others called out the creators, accusing them of arrogance for ignoring fan feedback. But no matter how you sliced it, Bella was at the center of every discussion. Meanwhile, industry analysts began writing obituaries for the series. One headline read, "The Last of Us Part 2, How HBO Let Its Golden Goose Starve." Another piece, even harsher, claimed HBO's refusal to recast Ellie sinks a franchise. The tone was no longer hopeful or curious. It was final, as if the show's future had already been sealed. Even castmates started distancing themselves, carefully phrasing their words in interviews to avoid mentioning Bella directly. One actor said, "We all did our best with what we had," a comment that fans immediately interpreted as a subtle dig. By the end of that week, streaming analysts confirmed what everyone suspected. Subscriptions related to The Last of Us had plummeted, and discussions of a third season had gone silent. For a series that once defined prestige television, it was a freefall unlike anything anyone had imagined. But was this truly the end of The Last of Us? Or just the beginning of a much bigger reckoning for HBO and the choices that brought them here? Behind the cameras, things were falling apart just as quickly as they were online. Multiple reports surfaced claiming that the tension on set had become unbearable. Crew members allegedly began whispering about who was truly at fault, and fingers weren't just pointing at Bella anymore. They were aimed squarely at the creators who refused to change course. Anonymous posts from supposed production insiders painted a grim picture: frantic emergency meetings with executives, arguments over whether to re-edit episodes, and late-night phone calls where frustrated department heads demanded answers. But through it all, one fact kept surfacing. Nobody wanted to admit the core issue out loud. In a leaked chat thread that spread across Reddit, someone claiming to be a junior producer wrote, "We all knew Bella wasn't connecting with the role anymore, but every time someone brought it up, they get shut down. The message from the top was clear: she stays, no matter what." That single message got thousands of upvotes and hundreds of comments, most of them furious at HBO's leadership. Meanwhile, the rumors intensified. A YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers claimed to have spoken with an inside source who confirmed Bella had threatened to quit during filming if the criticism didn't stop. Whether that's true or not didn't matter. Fans believed it, and the comment section went wild. Some praised her for standing up for herself. Others roasted her, saying it was the best news yet if she left the show. What made the situation even worse was HBO's eerie silence. No official statements, no social media posts defending their star. Instead, they quietly postponed press tours and canceled planned interviews, fueling even more speculation that something disastrous was happening behind closed doors. Entertainment blogs described it as a blame game, with executives scrambling to protect their reputations while the show they once boasted about was burning down in public view. By this point, even the most loyal fans felt abandoned. Reddit threads titled "What Went Wrong" racked up thousands of comments, with users dissecting every casting choice, every leaked memo, every rumor of a recast that never happened. And every single thread kept circling back to Bella, her performance, her breakdown, her presence in a show that now felt unrecognizable. But just when it seemed like the storm couldn't get any worse, another wave of revelations hit the fandom, and this time it felt like the final nail in the coffin. The aftermath of the collapse felt almost unreal. Within weeks, The Last of Us Part 2 transformed from one of HBO's crown jewels into a cautionary tale whispered about in industry circles. Those inside the network reportedly began scrubbing internal presentations of all references to the show's once record-breaking numbers. Some crew members quietly moved on to other projects. Merchandise sales flatlined, and yet through all the chaos, one question refused to fade: is this truly the end of The Last Last of Us? For many viewers, the answer was obvious. They'd already canceled their subscriptions, unfollowed official accounts, and sworn off the franchise entirely. To them, the damage was irreversible. Bella Ramsey's portrayal had become the symbol of a series that betrayed its own legacy. Every meme, every viral clip of her press event meltdown, every article about zero viewership served as a grim reminder of how far the show had fallen. But others, surprisingly, held on to a shred of hope. In some corners of the fandom, whispers emerged. What if HBO actually learns from this? What if they recast Ellie, rewrite the next season, and rebuild what they broke? Some speculated that the network was already hunting for a new lead behind the scenes, preparing for a dramatic relaunch to save face. A few even floated wild theories about scrapping season 2 entirely and starting fresh with a completely different take on the story. Whether any of that happens remains to be seen. What's undeniable is that The Last of Us now sits at a crossroads few could have imagined after its triumphant first season. A franchise that once defined prestige TV has been reduced to a cautionary tale of ego, stubbornness, and choices that ignored the very audience that made it a hit in the first place. As for Bella Ramsey, the world is still watching. Some fans think she'll never recover from this, that the shadow of this flop will follow her forever. Others believe she might reinvent herself, prove everyone wrong, and come back stronger than ever. But no matter what happens next, one thing is certain. The story of The Last of Us Part 2, its rise, its shocking collapse, and the fallout that followed will be remembered for years to come. So what do you think? Was this the inevitable downfall of a franchise stretched too thin? Or was it a disaster that could have been avoided if HBO had simply listened? Let me know what you think, because if this really is the end, it's a lesson Hollywood won't soon forget.